Welcome back to the Cold Case Podcast. Today I have me, myself, Owen, and Jeremiah Vanover as a co-host. But today we will be talking about the Zodiac Killer. And the case is one of the most infamous cases in the U.S. And it was about a guy back in 1970. He terrorized North Carolina, killing at least 5 people, sending taunting letters and a bunch of newspapers to the police just to.
Just a correction, it was North California.
Oh, North California. And the killed at least 5 people that we know of, and has been one of the most popular cold cases in America. So, today we're just going to be talking about the overview of the case, kind of, the background, the theories behind them, and So the Zodiac Killer is a unidentified serial killer, and he was active in San Francisco. And do you know who his victims were?
He had a lot of victims.
I
at
think
least
it was
5.
Yeah, 5, but there might have been more that we know of. At least 5 confirmed kills.
Yeah.
And so the background of this guy, he killed, his name was David Farday, whatever that is, on December 20, 1968, and he shot and killed them. And I don't know, they apparently were teenagers too.
Yeah, so, learning about this, they were sitting in, a car in, a park, and, this guy just walks up and, shoots them both,
Yeah, I always wondered, what he looked like.
Yeah.
The Zodiac Killer. I mean, there's obviously, script, pictures of him,
I know, it's, kind of crazy how they can't figure out,
Oh, yeah, I know. Especially, this first murder happened December 20th, 1968. So, it wasn't, way back in the day. This was only, 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And you still don't know the complete, picture of him. But, and then his next murder went to July 4th, 1969.
It's a year, kind of.
Yeah, so...
A couple months.
Yeah, a couple of months, if that. And this... okay, so there was a couple in their car at a park, and this guy's name was Michael, and he survived the attack, but the other person in the car died. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. I don't know how. Wait, if he survived, how did you not get a picture of his face or any details at all?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
you can't describe him well enough,
Well, there were kind of drawings of him, but that's it.
But I guess drawings aren't the most accurate. You need you need height and
Well, so for these killings, the timeline we have in July 4th, 1963 was the first one. And then just 3 years, he actually took a break. And this one was a possible killing. But it was an 18-year-old, lived with her father, Joseph. And she got killed on October 30th, 1966. So that's a 3-year time difference between these 2 murders.
Yeah.
So he probably went on a killing spree.
Yeah.
Or after this, he probably went on a killing spree. His next one was 2 years.
It kind of follows a pattern of every couple months.
Yeah, every couple of months.
Yeah.
Well, for these first 2 were 3 years apart, and then he went straight from 1966 to 1968.
Well, when you're murdering someone, the first one's definitely probably nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then he went. That was even shorter.
And then the second one, you start coming more used to it and stuff.
And this next one, July 4th, 1969, So it was on July 4th, a year difference. So it went from 3 years to 2 years to 1 year.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Like, imagine you're hanging out with, your
Yeah.
family,
Well, on this July 4th one,
and
the 22-year-old picked up her friend on July 4th, and then there were shots fired at him with a 9mm handgun. This guy's just. I thought he'd be more like,
like an
selective.
assassin kind of.
Yeah, this guy's just going shooting people. Oh my gosh! And then the next one, this guy, 1969 again. So it wasn't even a year difference this time. He's just getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah,
down.
this guy was a college student. It was September 27th, 1969.
I mean, yeah, and then the next one is October. So
Yeah,
it just becomes less and less
Yeah.
time between his killings.
yeah, and this guy, he got stabbed 7 times in the back. So he's killing different times and different areas and different methods.
Yeah, and honestly, the most complex thing about this is the actual letters he sent. And
Oh,
the reason
my
they gave him the name of the Zodiac Killer because
Yeah.
he wrote these taunting, letters to newspapers and even the cops, and they were all just in Zodiac, ciphers. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone in the history of serial killings ever done anything like that. Send newspapers to
sending
letters,
letters
like,
directly to the
taunting
cops and
police, yeah.
stuff.
Taunting the police and all that. That's just crazy. But
It's
yeah.
and they couldn't even figure him out.
Oh yeah, I know.
It took them I saw something that was they recently just actually figured out one of his messages.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard of the Zodiac Killer before, but I never knew this much. He just goes around sending letters. I never knew that he sent letters to the police and
Yeah.
did all that stuff. But yeah, the police were trying to crack down on him for a while, trying to use DNA and sketches from people that survived and DNA testing and trying to break the codes and fingerprints and analyzing handwriting and all this stuff just to get it's somewhat of an idea, but they just couldn't, and they just could never catch him But right now that we actually isn't there someone that is there's theories, but isn't there suspects of
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy they said who did it, and they're pretty sure is actually the one who did it, was Arthur Lee Allen.
Oh yeah. He a former elementary school teacher.
Yeah. I mean, which could make sense, if you're a teacher, you got to be a little bit at least well educated.
Yeah. That's just crazy. Imagine he was for elementary school teacher. So imagine going to elementary school and your teacher's a serial killer.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he also mentioned a 1969 letter from the Zodiac. But the Zodiac stated it was not his name. Wait, so does that mean that? So Alan wasn't he didn't say that he was?
I think so.
I don't know.
But honestly, what's crazy is that Arthur Lee Allen never came forward. It was his friend Don.
Who
reported him.
Oh, okay.
In 1971.
Yeah, I mean.
And actually, he died in 1992. So. If it actually was him, they can't charge anyone now.
Yeah. I feel like the Zodiac Killer would be if he's sending letters to the police and doing all this to where they could never catch him. There's no way that he would just be some random guy, a random elementary teacher doing nothing. But the other suspect was Gary Francis Post.
Yep.
Yeah. He was a potential suspect in 2021. So this is one of the most recent suspects for this in 2021. And I mean,
20 eyewitnesses
Yeah,
and
26
6 pieces of evidence.
pieces
That's
of evidence.
That's
Yeah.
a lot.
That, I mean,
And like the amount of people they kind of have to like say, "Oh, this could be him," it's a
Yeah.
lot because they don't actually know who it
yeah,
is.
they don't have any DNA. The only thing they have are letters that he sent to him and
Yeah.
a sketch of barely anything. The next suspect is Richard Galkowski. Richard. And he was a San Francisco newspaper editor.
I mean, that could make sense
no.
because he sent, the Zodiac messages to newspaper outlets,
Yeah, and he
and
was
like
an
how they
editor.
were gonna publish them and stuff,
He was an editor too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like this is the one. Like,
And I mean, it says a police dispatcher on Mystery Quest believed that his voice matched the Zodiac killer's. So
oh, did he send like recordings or something to the police too? He definitely did. No
yeah,
way.
he probably did. That's actually like
Yeah.
badass, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a bunch of theories that, could go into it and things like that. But I think for sure the guy that did it, at least from our research, it says that Arthur is the definite
Yeah.
person to do it. But I do like
Honestly,
that other guy.
I also heard another theory where it was like the Zodiac killer was a cop.
Oh, dude.
So like,
that would be awesome.
imagine going into work like every day and you're trying to decipher your own messages and you already know what they say.
No,
You
that's
can't, like,
awesome.
Let other people know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know if the Zodiac killer did the same thing that he did today, would he get caught? It's like the cipher cracking, DNA analysis, handwriting analysis, like all that was not as good as it was today.
Yeah, I think most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the time of these murders, it's only like 20 years after World War II and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you're thinking back about that time,
Yeah.
it's way different.
Yeah,
than,
there was definitely less technology, way less advanced.
I mean, there was
and
even
stuff.
way less technology in, the 2000s.
Yeah.
We're in the 2020s now.
Yeah, I mean, forensics was probably looking at it and probably couldn't come up with anything. Technology was not in their hand at that point for
Yeah.
like all that stuff.
I mean, and then there's a theory that the Zodiac was just a hoax.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I think.
And that the letters were just fabrication. Honestly, like it might be like, kind of a scare tactic, maybe, is what people were thinking,
For what?
Like, I don't know, like the police, like maybe
like a
out late at
yeah.
night, or
I mean, it wasn't in the 70s. In the 70s,
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
yeah.
it'd be like a folk tale, one of those things.
Yeah. I mean that could be. I don't
mean,
think
so-
so. There's no way though. There's
There-
no way that at least I know of 5 people died just over a hoax.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't but
Well, I think they were more saying like the letters were like a hoax.
okay.
Not like the actual killing,
So-
like the letters
yeah.
that maybe he didn't actually send letters to the police.
Yeah, I mean, many like officers, I feel like, were trying to crack down onto this, and
Yeah, I mean many like types of
Yeah,
like
uh,
criminologists,
yeah.
forensic scientists,
Yeah,
and like a bunch of law.
one of the victims' families, the surviving victim of Zodiac killer, are seeking like closure and justice even decades after the event. So
Well,
they still want to. I mean, you can't really do that though.
yeah,
Like,
I
if you
mean,
think you got the
especially
guy-
if it is that
Arthur guy.
Arthur,
Yeah,
like he
died.
died in 1992,
Yeah,
so
like, you can't
you're not
do
gonna
things
get
like
any
that.
closure if
There's-
it was him.
Yeah, I mean, who else could it be? I mean, it could be those other people, but I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't think it would be any of them. I mean, that guy seems like a definite victim or suspect in the case. But yeah, there's been a lot of like books and movies about this. Like this
Yeah.
killer. There's been that one movie it starred Brad Pitt in. It was about the Zodiac killer, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think there was a movie about that, and also like Arthur's and authors.
Well, is it probably like a horror movie?
Oh yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
just called Zodiac Killer, but
Yeah.
authors have had like adaptations of like the Zodiac Killer and like what he did, and creating debates and fantasies really about like what he did in his time of his killings. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you look at like who he attacked like primarily young couples.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, that could kind of be, like evidence,
Connected.
kind of like connected to
Yeah.
what, like the letters and
Yeah.
stuff, like the Zodiac stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he really just he was he just really like I don't know why he targeted the people that he did.
Yeah.
He probably
It's like-
targeted them just because they were there. He just
Maybe-
killed.
Maybe he didn't have like, maybe his, like person like died maybe at that age.
Oh yeah, maybe some trauma or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
I mean, no one knows the true like motivations
Yeah.
behind his killing.
And I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of crazy how he just like.
Yeah.
I don't think I could ever like kill someone. Bro.
Oh, I know. I know, especially.
Like the guilt you'd have to hold.
I know. This guy is definitely insane,
Like,
especially with
and especially if he was Arthur, like,
Oh
he
yeah.
was a former elementary.
That's
teacher,
that's,
you know?
yeah.
Like you gotta think of like your elementary kids, like when they grow up, you, like.
Oh,
that'd be,
I
like,
know.
the age you like kill them at, like. That's
No,
crazy.
it's crazy to think, but the Zodiac's like identity and motives and methods remain like a mystery. Like no one knows them. No one knows the identity for sure. No one knows the motives for sure. No one even knows the methods of like how he came upon these people and killed them. But yeah, there's always been detectives or forensics or someone trying to crack down on these cases, either if it's like the letters or the method of them killing or them interviewing the victims that survived. But no one seems to know for sure about any of it.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you're like a victim of like that sort of thing, I feel like it'd be kind of like easy to like tell maybe
Yeah,
who it was.
I know. At least getting a
Like
glimpse
put in
of
a
the
lineup
face.
or something, I mean, unless they have a mask on, but then you can still, I mean, tell like
I know.
skin color.
I know. So you
like,
could get something. Literally,
like,
all they have
their
is he wore
hair or something,
glasses.
or,
Yeah, he wore glasses. That's pretty much it.
I mean, and that's like, I don't know what percentage of people that is.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's like one of the biggest cold cases in history. I mean, it says like there was no like structure, like there were no pieces of evidence that were like there were no like pieces of evidence that were like solid.
Yeah.
None of them were like okay, so he has green eyes or he has this. I mean, there were obviously like victims were like he might have had glasses, he might have had this, and they'd sketch up something.
A bunch of like theories.
Yeah. Oh,
What if?
Yeah. And that's where like the authors and the whatever directors of the movies and them just creating their own adaptation of like what could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, the Zodiac Killer still like fascinates a bunch of people today. Like, if you like take any class, like a criminology class, you're gonna hear about it at least once. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everyone knows the Zodiac Killer. No one
Yeah.
it doesn't like has not heard the name before.
Like, I feel like it's like kind of a popular like kind of cold case. It's like one of the most popular cold cases. I feel like probably.
Yeah, no, it's definitely up there. It's definitely one of the most infamous, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Keep your eyes out for the next episode.